Hey guys, it's John, and today we are playing Exmortis for Still Scary Sunday, the series in which we revisit old horror games and see if they still hold up in 2019. This one was originally created, I believe, in 2004 by Ben Leffler. I played it about 7 years ago, right after I played The House and The House 2, which we replayed last week. Those didn't hold up so well, but I remember liking this one, and we're gonna find out if it's just a case of playing it at the time, or if it's something timeless that holds up even today. I feel like I just said the same thing like 3 times in a row, but here we go. You wake up in the woods with a lump on your head. You can't remember how you got there. All you can recall are the dreams. It's late, cold, and you are unsure of where you are exactly. Fighting through the headache, you regain your focus. You see a house in a clearing and decide to shelter there. Anything is better than freezing to death in the woods. Careful what you wish for, buddy. So this is a flash game. I'm playing it on Newgrounds right now in 2019. Okay, we're going in the house. Front door. Let's go inside, I guess. These stairs lead up to a second level. A hallway shrouded in the shadows. Let's go there first. Dark hallway. Great. Okay. Just another painting on the wall. The hallway leads off into the darkness. Let's go that way. Ground floor hall. A grandfather clock sits ticking away in the corner. Let's examine it. So this is definitely a puzzle hint or a puzzle itself. Huh. Got 3 eyes on the side. X, I, X, and then IA. So they could be Roman numerals, but A is not a Roman numeral that I know of, so that's a little weird. A dusty chandelier hangs from the ceiling. Should we go into the left door? The left door is locked, actually, so we'll go into the right door. We're in the kitchen. And something in the microwave is leaking blood. Let's find out what it is. A severed head. It appears to be a fresh kill. Whoever the killer is, or wherever the killer is, he will probably be back soon. And I don't want to be here when he returns. The forehead seems to have an A on it. I think this is the developer's head. I might be wrong. Just would make sense. The cupboard appears to be empty. There's something on the lower shelf. A knife sits on the lower shelf. A blood-stained knife. You should probably arm yourself with a slightly larger weapon. Hey, man. Let's take what we can get. Why not take this until we get a larger weapon? It's got like brass knuckles on it. Cupboards are empty. Let's keep looking around though. A griller built into the bench. Maybe I have to grill something at some point. Look in the old dishwasher. Okay. Let's go ahead and leave then. I don't think there's anything else there. This is the lounge room. I had to sit exactly, you know what, I can fix this real quick. Okay, I've moved to the other corner, so now you can read the name of the room in the lower right. Let's go ahead and check this out. A tattered diary sits on the table. May 24th, 1997. An unusually eventful day today. I stumbled across an unusual find whilst out hunting for deer in this remote wilderness. Whilst, huh? We have ourselves a gentleman and a scholar here. Stalking a wild steed into a clearing. You can only imagine my surprise to find a house, old and seemingly abandoned, but still standing strong. An interesting find, one that certainly has me curious. May 25th, 1997. Upon my investigation with the city archives earlier this morning, it appears that the house has been abandoned for almost 10 years and currently resides under the control of the local government. I feel that its location must be too remote for them to be able to tear it down. But I must admit that I feel drawn back to the house, mostly out of curiosity. But I cannot deny that there is something else about that place that has me yearning to return. May 28th. I could not put it off any longer. I called in sick to the office today and decided that I would retrace my steps into the wilderness to once again find the house which has been foremost on my mind as of late. It didn't take much to find it again, as it was almost like I was being guided back to the exact spot that I found myself some 4 days ago. Once I plucked up enough courage, I pushed open the unlocked front door. Admittedly, I was very surprised at the ease of which the door opened, considering that the hinge had probably built up a good 10 years worth of rust. To my relative astonishment, the place was still furnished. Though very dirty and completely run down, I was and still am amazed at the state of the place, considering that it had been empty for so long. I decided that I would explore the house and not disturb anything within. My fear had not subsided, and as a matter of fact, it is still with me as I record this journal some hours later. My curiosity took me through the kitchen. That's where we just were. Oh, bedroom and lounge room before a thumping noise from the roof on the second level startled me so much that I ran straight out the front door and back through the forest to my automobile. As it was, I almost fell off a small ledge and into the thicket below. I felt like a complete fool being scared off by rats, which I assumed they were. May 29th. I had a nightmare last night. All I can remember is the blood and the frightened screams surrounding me, and the house. The house was in my nightmares too. May 30th. I called in sick to work once again. Dude. They're gonna start getting suspicious. So that I could venture out to the wilderness and explore the abandoned house once more. Not surprisingly, I found the structure with relative ease as I did yesterday. However, I was startled when I noticed that the front door was closed. I am certain that when I left in such a hurry the other day that the door had been left ajar. In any case, I eventually attributed the closed door to the wind, as I was clearly the only person who had been in the old house recently. I repeatedly scoured through the house for anything interesting, heading back through previously visited rooms. Once again, as I passed through the hallway outside the main bedroom on the second level, I heard heavy thumping coming from the roof. I was instantly very tempted to repeat yesterday's dash from the house, but I swallowed my fear and continued on with the exploration. In the limited time that I had before dusk, unfortunately I did not uncover anything that would help explain the mysterious disappearance of the most recent tenants. May 31st. I sit here in the lounge room of the old house by candlelight, recording in this journal the events that have transpired today. You're spending too much time in this house, man. Although I am scared to within an inch of my life, I am bound to this house and feel I do not have the strength or resolve to run back to my car at such an advanced hour. What the hell? There's a lot of reading here. Oof. Okay, you know what? We'll read this in pieces. I want to explore a little bit more, but we'll come back to this diary and read the rest of it later. I don't want to spend 10 minutes reading one thing. I'm clicking around. Bloodstains on these chairs. There is nothing of interest on this coffee table. Oh, really? But the diary is interesting. The tattered diary. You gotta read it. But nothing of interest over here. Blood on the floorboards. It looks like something's been dragged through here. Okay. So I guess we're good here. Let's go back. Work our way backwards and explore the rest of the house. So that door's locked. We can't do anything with the grandfather clock right now. We got this door. Cellar entrance. The handle turns. The handle turns, but the door refuses to budge. It's almost like someone is holding it closed. Huh. We'll go ahead and leave the cellar entrance. I'm good. I'm not impatient. Let's go up to the second level. It's windy as hell outside. Moonlight streams through this window. Oh, wow, okay. The door has no handle. There's a light here? There's nothing else I can click on. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back. Let's go to the right. This door has This thumping. How the hell did so much blood get on the roof? The bedspread is soaked in someone's blood. What is that noise? The painting on the wall is of a familiar landscape. There's a safe. There's a safe hidden behind the painting. Wow, I didn't see that coming. Yeah, well, I mean, you're exploring an abandoned haunted house in the middle of the night, so I wouldn't really expect you to be able to predict the future very well. The gramophone is unplugged, but it's still rotating. How is this possible? Great question. What is that sound? There's no breeze in here, so why is this roof lamp swinging? Oh, I don't know. I don't know the safe password yet. Closed door. The ensuite bathroom. There's blood in here too. The bathtub is filled with what seems to be blood. Just an ordinary, if somewhat dirty bathroom sink. Found a key lodged in the pipe of the sink. We can unlock something. The window is boarded up, made by someone who valued their privacy. Yeah, I think if I was murdering people in my bathtub, I'd value my privacy too. Let's go back. We do have a key now, so we are unable to unlock something. What's that thumping? A hatch in the roof might lead to an attic. Looks like an attic. Could that be where the thumping is coming from? Let's go up. A torso hung up by the arms has been ripped to shreds. You retch at the mere sight. Okay. There appears to be, okay, 3489. I didn't read it. There appears to be something scrawled onto this plank. 3489, is that the safe password? Yeah, you know, I'm just saying if I found a bloody torso like this in the attic, hell, if I found a severed head in the microwave, I'd get out. I'd leave immediately. 3489, huh? Access granted. And it's someone's heart. It appears to be a human heart. A dark leather-bound book titled Exmortis. The Book of Exmortis. Oh my god. Okay. What was? Before the dawn of man and beast, the Earth realm was ruled by the ancients, mystical beings transcending life, death, time, and reality as most mere mortals know it. The days before life and light were ruled by darkness and chaos. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep this up the entire journal, but here goes. The ancients roamed the plane of existence and lived on the blood of conquest and rule over lesser entities. There are many of these ruling archaic spirits. However, one by one over many millennia, their greed and arrogance saw them turn against each other. They sought blood, destruction, and dominance over their own kind, and many immortal sentients met their demise as a result. The consolidation of the remaining power saw the ancients' rule divided amongst the remaining three. Azrael, Cathafta, and Vlau frequently exerted their wrath and cruelty through their ferocity towards each other's dominion. The blood of many was spilt as the remaining three fought against his brother for the spoils and power that they each possessed. Upon the battlefield, Azrael's forces reduced the army of Vlau to dust, culminating in long-awaited glorious victory. But his compassion toward his defeated brother saw Vlau get his reprieve from the certain destruction that he faced. Knowing that defeating Cathafta's forces would require many more millennia of fighting, Azrael appointed Vlau as his general, knowing that the power of two ancients was enough to win undisputed control. This reads like fan fiction. In a final bloody battle in the crimson sky, the penultimate confrontation played out. Cathafta, Not realizing that Vlau was still corporeal and leading Azrael's armies, made the grave mistake of underestimating the strength of his opponent. The losses took the Kavafta forces by surprise, and before they had time to regroup, Vlau had plunged his sword deep into the heart of his defenses. Azrael's forces streamed into the last stronghold of Kavafta. What were they streaming? Fortnite? Says he was streaming. Slaying every sentient entity that stood against them. Kavafta's army were eventually defeated, leaving Vlau triumphant in his victory. His subordinates fought ferociously, and they were to be rewarded with a unified rule over the Earth realm. Azrael, holding no compassion towards Kavafta, as he had Vlau, destroyed the life force of his nemesis and claimed the kingdom as his own. With his totalitarian control, he decided that Vlau was no longer of use to him. Unfortunate for him, he did not count on his army siding with the powerful Vlau. In a furious realization of this challenge in the face of certain ascension, the Earth realm shook with the power of Azrael's anger towards his army's treachery. Vlau showed no mercy towards his brother, knowing that he could not make the same mistake that Azrael made. Without hesitation, Vlau had Azrael slain by his own ethereal hand, and he assumed total control of the consolidated kingdom of the Earth realm. The tyrannical rule of Vlau lasted for many millennia with no one to challenge him, but conspire certain forces did against the sole remaining ancient. That's supposed to be S-O-L-E, not S-O-U-L. They bode their time, recruiting supporters of the overthrowing. Vlau was ambushed and overpowered by his trusted advisors, but knowing that only one of his kind could destroy him, he had his corporeal presence removed to exist for eternity in the demonic spirit form. The remaining world of archaic lessers were dispersed and were governed under each individual's rule, not drool. It was true chaos with no joint agenda. Vlau, without corporeal form and no longer able to physically alter the world, roamed the Earth realm for the rest of existence. Diminished in power, he still had many followers to which he would spiritually combine his life force with. Good God, this is extremely long. Instead of existing as a single powerful entity, Vlau became subversively indestructible by being many. He called his new legion of existence Exmortis. So he's Voldemort, basically. Wait, what is? What will be? What was is what I just read. That's all I wanted to see. So that's what was. Now here's what is. The appearance of soul-bearing creatures of flesh and blood saw a new rule within the Earth realm. Over many thousands of years, man destroyed countless lesser entities, some very powerful. Even some who helped overthrow Vlau's previous rule. While man was physically weak in comparison to the entities of dark times, their souls gave them many advantages, and it was one of these advantages that the Earth realm entities were reduced to minimal numbers. A world once ruled with strength and might was now in the hands of the weak. The handful of ancient entities sought to influence and control humanity for mutual gain. Blau's Exmortis prospered where other entities failed, purely because of their strength in numbers and the wisdom of the mighty ancient himself. Together as one, the Exmortis was worshipped widely in the world of man, but human nature led to conflict and the cult of Vlau was tragically cold and almost forgotten. With every passing human year, Blau's influence and power in the Earth realm was diminished until all that remained was what was recorded in the written form. After the death of the final disciple, Vlau and the Exmortis slept until the day humanity was ready for the anointment of his hand. What will be? Prophecy in the word of Vlau speaks of the coming of the Hand of Repose. Anointed with the blood of 5, a selected man will transcend humanity and evolve to become a link between the Earth realm and Vlau's Exmortis. Awakening the ancient from his slumber, the Hand will be charged with the power to bring about the uprising of the cult of Exmortis once again! blood, wrath, and strength will once again rule the earth realm, and Vlau will walk tall and rule amongst mortals as it was meant to be in that time before light and life. Rite of Charging the Hand. Translated from the Aramaic Cult of Exmortis scrolls, the Rite of Charging the Hand reads as follows. Devoured the crimson life of 5, marks of Vlau given to thee. Mirrored below the soul survive, what was, what is, and what will be. Xavier Raham. Hey, look, there's Vlau's corporeal form. Cool. 1890. I wonder if there's anything in here that we needed. Did I need to know all that? Was that all necessary? All right, so it's May 31st. Our hero, who wrote the diary, he's sitting in the lounge room just contemplating things. As I have for the past week, I returned to this house with the intent of uncovering anything that could help answer the question of its missing tenant. Failed to uncover anything that could help the cause, but what I did find seems far more precious and disturbing than I could have ever hoped for. As I was scouring the library for any misplaced photos or letters, I almost tripped myself over a leather-bound book sitting in the middle of the dusty floor. I was certainly miffed as to how I missed it in my movements through this house the past few days. Picking up the book, I felt a slight empowerment rush through me. The distant sound of wind began to sound like whispers, and the room in which I was standing seemed to darken. I wonder what knowledge the scribe had passed down the ages for me. So he's reading the Exmortis book that we just read. Enchanted by this aging literature, I retreated back into the lounge room and settled down in one of the most comfortable chairs and continued to read through the contents of the book. Written in what seemed to be a red ink of some sort, a lot of the content didn't initially make sense to me, as the majority of it written in a language that is foreign to me. What? It seemed like English to me. But in the back of the book, there were abridged translations written by Mr. Xavier Raham from 1890. Oh, okay, so what we were reading was the abridged translations. The majority of what I could understand seemed rather jumbled and nonsensical. Rather disappointed, I closed the book and relieved myself of its burden. Things from this point became rather blurred and frighteningly surreal. Frighteningly surreal? The sound of the distant forest animals stopped as if all life paused, waiting for my next move. The wind outside stopped pounding against the shuttered windows, and the candle winked out of existence, leaving me in almost pitch-black conditions. Listened closely, and all I could hear of my heartbeat and rasping breath was the whispering that I shrugged off before. We've heard that too. It was coming from every direction, yet no direction at all. The whispering slowly got louder until it sounded like a dull roar. Voices of many different types called out. They cried in pain, screamed my name, and some shouted obscenities I dare not repeat. There were so many of them, so many voices. I felt multiple hands pin me down to the chair by my upper torso, but every time I flailed my arms out in front of me, they connected with nothing but air. The harder I was pressed against the chair, the harder it was for me to breath. And soon I could not breath at all. I blacked out. The last thing I remember was a flash of my nightmare from the night before. A flash of the blood. A flash of the screams. The house. I woke up about 20 minutes ago, slumped in the same chair. Time to leave, buddy. Time to GTFO. It is now long after dark, and I dare not brave the sub-zero temperatures of the woodland winter to return home this evening. Tonight, I'll be staying here in this accursed house. I think I'd take my chances with the cold. Maybe you shouldn't have come to this house at all. I sometimes think that I can still hear the whispering. Or are they just echoes of my earlier brush with madness? I can feel the urge of slumber rush towards me like a freight train. Pray that I survive the night. June 1st, looks like I did. Plagued by nightmares more vivid than I care to remember, I woke screaming. It appears that I slept through the daylight hours, but it didn't matter to me. I was incensed to fight the freezing conditions outside and return home. But I was scared to move from the spot. They started whispering to me again. I want to leave, but I can't. They won't let me. I scream at them, but they just laugh and utter obscenities back at me. What have I released upon this world? Oh my god. So many more entries. June the 3rd. Vlau spoke to me today. It is he who is spoken of in the Exmortis. With every word he whispers into my mind, I tremble as if my soul has been shaken to its core. Is he the one that the prophecy foretold? June 7th. I have been here for over a week now. Surely someone must be looking for me by now. I pray that they find me. My captors here won't let me leave. Every door, every exit, the handles turn, but the door does not move on its hinges. June 16th. I no longer fear death. I actually pray that it comes for me. June 30th. They still torment me, keeping me here, keeping me alive. They need me too. I can't even write of it. June 20th. Oh wait, July 20th. Wow. I feel my sanity has almost left me. Yeah, he's been there for like 2 months, right? I hallucinate so vividly. I can't tell what's real and what is not anymore. The ancient shows me images of his former glory. It's like the equivalent of like someone being like, hey, you want to see pictures of my kid? And you're like, uh-huh. Wow, looks great. That is a tiny human. That's what this is like. The ancient shows me image of his former glory. Oh, that's great, yeah. I don't understand what they want me. Why they need me. July 26th. I am actually surprised. I am told they seek not to control me. Oh, that's why they didn't let you leave for 2 months. Yeah. They're not seeking to control you. They only seek my assistance in aiding the inevitable. But why do I continue to resist? What they tell me makes more sense than anything I've ever known. But I still fear them and what they will do to me should I refuse. But at this moment, I can't think of a single reason why I should. August 13th. Is acceptance all that I have ever yearned for? But the greater good here is far more complicated, yet so much easier to obtain. They smile upon me now. Strangely though, I like it. I find myself basking in the warmth of their chilling promises. Oh boy. Too far gone. August 22nd. I am comfortable, and I am learning about the true nature of the world and what is beyond it. I don't know why I continue writing in this journal. I guess that's the last semblance of humanity that I have within me. It's ridiculous, though. I am becoming much more than human with every moment that I spend under their patient tutelage. I have been tempted to throw this journal into the fire on many occasions. Reading over its pages only reminds me of how weak I used to be. I've lost track of the day, but I am sure that I have been here for over a year. It has been a long time since I have entered anything into this journal. I can rejoice, though. We will have company. At last, I will finally be rewarded. A group approacheth to provide me with everlasting cup of life. A day away. No more, no less, I am told. Wrath, death, blood. My day has finally arrived. The Exmortis shall make the world remember what was, and I will be integral in reinstating what will be. I can see them now. A group of campers, as I was promised. 3 males and 2 females. Now all I can do is wait. Wait for my time. Become their hand. Immortality beyond patience. Patience beyond the dominion. I can taste it now. Anoint me, Lord Vlau. The time has come. Wow. Okay. This house has some weird fan fiction, bro. So can I open this now? Ah, I used the key to open it, because I got a key from the thing. What's in here? There's a severed arm! A severed arm! This house is turning out to be a graveyard. Man, don't even think about leaving, though. A shelf filled with miscellaneous books on the occult. There's no electricity in this house, so the lamp doesn't work. Thanks for explaining. Fireplace looks like it hasn't been used for years. The word remember is smeared in blood on this mirror. There's something very unnerving about this sculpture. Wait, really? I thought it had... Look! It's got eyes open. You can see it. But they were closed earlier. Look, they're closed. What the hell? Bookshelves filled with volumes of books. I ain't reading any other books, bro. This has been like a creepypasta reading simulator so far. I'm clicking on stuff, but nothing appears. Remember. Is there something I'm supposed to do with the clock, maybe? No, it doesn't appear so. There's gotta be something that I do in this room, in the library. I do remember, oh, okay. No, dude, Xavier Raham, 1878. Dude, how much did you freaking write? No! I don't remember there being so much reading in Exmortis. Like, I remember there being some long notes, but I remember there being, like, more in between. GR. The tale of my daughter Gwen is a sad and sorrowful fable. I refer to it as a fable, for my mortal brain cannot begin to comprehend the horrors that I have witnessed in this house. I just thought it would be funny if Xavier was from the South. So I cast what I have witnessed into my memory as delusion and morbid fantasy. My small family moved to this house of solitude last summer to escape the perils of society and to mourn the unfortunate death of my wife, Julia. Awfully heavy subject matter for me to be bringing this voice out, but onward we go. Tuberculosis claimed her life only months before my move to this place. Hindsight is a beautiful thing, and knowing what I know now was a move that I never would make again. The days rolled onward toward inevitability, and my daughter and I continued our simple existence. Being a scholar myself, as we can clearly hear, I enjoyed passing the time reading the literature left here by the previous owner of this detached house. Many of the fine works here proved to be very old and of extreme interest to me. Some works proved very challenging indeed and very hard to translate. The library provided here had an abundance of books flavored with subjects focused on the occult. One particular book caught my interest, simply titled Exmortis. The word is a derivative of ex mortis, which loosely translates to the dead. It was from the moment that I finished translating this book, from an unusual dialect of ancient Aramaic, mind you, and read the final English translation, that our troubles here began. My daughter, the only other occupant of this house, grew distant from me over the course of the following week. She developed rageful tendencies toward my parentage, and she started having seizures, which worried me immensely at the time. But these unusual events didn't limit themselves to my daughter. I began having nightmares so ghastly that I dare not recall them. Suffice to say, I was concerned by the disturbing changes to both my daughter and I. After the first week, the hallucinations began. I recall hearing voices. I recall hearing noises and whispering, as well as sight and movement in my peripheral vision. I constantly had the feeling that someone was in the room with me, but upon searching it was clear that I was alone. My dear Gwen, however, became less active all of a sudden. She was almost catatonic at stages, not reacting to conversation or physical prompting. She would just shuffle her petite form around the house and stare blankly through me whenever I confronted her. It was shortly after a month of this behavior that I began to notice certain physical changes in my daughter. She seemed withered in her appearance, but her face would at times seem bloated and twisted horribly. It wasn't until a fleeting moment in my day that my hope was crushed forever. My darling Gwen broke free from this new personality that had gripped her for months. She screamed and cried for me to help her, to save her from the monsters that now plagued her body. All I could do was hold her in my arms and assure her that I would free her from the prison she was trapped in. And then she was lost forever. The Gwen that I loved had resurfaced for only a moment, but to me, it was enough to realize what had to be done. That night while she slept in her room, I crept in with dagger in hand and plunged it deep into her heart. She writhed and convulsed in agony while all I could do was just watch and sob from the corner. In her dying breath, the real Gwen locked eyes with me and spoke. "Thank you, Daddy." I sit here now recounting the events that led me to this point in my insanity. My wife and daughter taken from me over the past 6 months, leaving me with nothing but their memories in this house. But I fear that now I am a target for the invisible forces that resides within these walls. I am trapped, unable to venture past the front door or the cellar hatch to the surrounding forest. I hear voices from all around me cursing me for my actions. I occasionally see her, my Gwen, standing in the hallway looking straight through me like she used to. I hope that I have saved her soul, but after seeing her apparition on a daily basis, I fear that I have done it is aided my tormentors. All I have done. Missed up that part. I now spend my days reading, researching, and translating the library. I feel it's my purpose in this house. May God have mercy on my soul, and may death soon relieve me of the guilt I carry. Okay, maybe the voice didn't exactly fit the somber tone of Xavier's diary. I had to get through it somehow. It's hard to read it straight when like they're really long. So like, okay, so we're still hearing whispering. The door is now ajar. Is this Gwen's room? Oop. There she is. Gwen Raham? Or just another hallucination? The blood of Gwen Raham stains the sheets. It was over 100 years ago that she was murdered, so how can the blood still be wet? That's a good point. Maybe it wasn't that long ago. There's nothing to click on in here. The only other place that I haven't been is the cellar. So maybe we go there next? Because like that door was just suddenly ajar and I didn't do anything to activate it. Handle turns but the door refuses to budge. Hi. So I had to start over. The game is a little bit bugged. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So right after you read Xavier's diary and you look at all 4 of the symbols near the severed body parts, right? Then you go upstairs to Gwen's room, but then after you click on her, you immediately have to go to the cellar. And if you don't immediately go there, you won't be able to get in. I learned this after some extensive Googling. I was trying to figure out why the cellar door wouldn't open. So after we click on her, we've got to immediately go to the cellar. I'm not sure why it's like this, but... After you hear that, you gotta go immediately to the cellar and it should open. Let's see if it works. Cellar, does it open now, please? Oh my god, it opens. Okay, here we go. The door slams locked behind you. The old air filtration unit, but the ducting runs away from the actual house. An axe leans up against the wall. You picked up the blood-stained axe. Cool. Part of the wall has been boarded up. It's big enough for us to get through. All right. Cool. An old tunnel system stretches off into the darkness. Just go forward, I guess. Got him. I'll kill you, you son of a bitch. Wow, what a greeting. A symbol appears on the forehead, and that means this is the 5th sacrifice. If I'm not one of the 5 campers, then who am I? I can't be... No. Please, no. No! So that's the 5th symbol right there, the M. Let's go ahead and keep moving. Small hole in the wall. Found a key buried in the dirt. Great. Am I done now? Am I done here? Do I go back? The severed head of the man who attacked you. Thank you. Well, I got a key now. Is there something locked? Like, there's this door off to the side, right? Oh, here it is. Use the key to open the door.
Welcome back, child. You have served us well up until this point. Now serve us again. Become the hand of Exmortis.
Devour the crimson life of 5, marks of law given to thee. Mirrored below the cells of life, what was, what is, and what will be.
A-E-F-M-U? that's it. I got a different ending this time than I did last time. Last time I just ran. Exmortis cult lures many. The world news. Okay, well. Anarchy. Major cities burn. We became the hand of Exmortis and brought about the end of the world. The ancients rule once again. Well, ancient, I guess. Millions die at the hands of Exmortis cult. Good. I'm glad. Alright, well that was Exmortis. A lot more reading than I remember. I think Exmortis 2 is the one that I enjoyed the most. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But I remember thinking this one was okay, and that the second one was a lot better. But I don't know if we're gonna have time to have the second game today. So that might be a thing for next week. I don't know. Yeah. Play again for alternate ending. Well, I did 7 years later, so I got both of the endings. The other ending is just you running through the forest and then like something pops up and scares you. It's like some sort of zombie thing, I don't know. Kind of a lame one, but yeah, a lot of reading. So I think the reason why I always enjoyed Exmortis more than its contemporary game, The House, is because Exmortis clearly prioritized world building and getting you more immersed in the story and lore of what you were playing. And The House was just kind of preoccupied with jump scaring you with Scary Ghost Girl. This one has more meat to it, I think. It's not so much that I find the story of the ancients and Vlau and the Hand of Exmortis that compelling, because I'm not feeling compelled by it, but it is more like respectable and interesting to me, at least, than just like, wow, you go to this spooky house and creepy ghost girl doesn't want you there. Here it's like there's a whole world built. This house has a lot of history to it. You get to read 3 different manuscripts of like what the house has been used for and who's lived there before and people that have been trapped there. And for a game that came out 15 years ago, 2004 was 15 years ago. Some people who are watching weren't even born then, which just kind of blows my mind. I don't want to think about it too much, but yeah, I think it's fine. I think it holds up better than The House. That's for sure. And I think that's because of its story. It's kind of propped up by its world building. And I think that the atmosphere is way better than The House too. It's really the only game that I can comfortably compare it to. So, is Exmortis still scary in 2019? It's a tough one to assess because about 75% of the game is reading. And reading a story is something timeless that I can't pin down as like something that has aged poorly in 15 years or anything like that. So really we're left with the rest of it, which is the atmosphere of the place and the visuals and I guess a couple of the jump scares. I don't think that they've aged poorly. Ultimately, I'm just a bit meh on it. I'm not like blown away by it, but it wasn't bad. It's just kind of in the middle. And I know that lukewarm opinions aren't what anyone wants to hear. Everybody wants to hear the hot takes and the strong opinions, but it's hard to have a strong opinion on this game, to be honest. A lot harder than I thought it would be going in. However, that bug with the cellar really annoys me. I don't think I encountered that the first time, but I'm annoyed by it. I wish that wasn't there. Let me know what you guys thought about Exmortis, and I will see you guys next week for more Still Scary, and on Thursday for a new regular video. See you then. Think critically.